What's up, everybody? This is James Hernandez. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're all doing good. And guess what? Today is the first day of October. That's right. And you know what that means? I'm still going to be doing some Halloween themed videos, especially later on. I'm going to be doing the Characters Face Off episode Halloween special. But today I'm going to be continuing doing my horror movie review videos. And today's movie is going to be my review for It Chapter 2. That's right, the second chapter of It, which was released in 2019, 2 years after the first one, even though the movie takes place 27 years after the first one. Now, I actually have been requested to review this movie not only because I reviewed the first one, but there's also going to be a It TV show, which is going to be a prequel to the films, which is going to be coming on HBO Max this October, which I'm actually am really excited for, and Bill Skarsgård is going to reprise his role as Pennywise. Yeah, this is going to be really cool. So overall, let's get this review started. So the movie centers around the Losers Club as adults. When they realize that Pennywise has returned to Derry, they must return to Derry in order to team up to stop Pennywise once and for all, while Pennywise is out there like terrorizing Derry and basically just killing kids because that's what Pennywise does. So I first watched this movie when it came out in theaters. I saw this movie with my mother and my sister, and I was really excited to see this movie because I thought It Chapter 1 was very good. Even though when I rewatched my review for It Chapter 1, I did say I actually really enjoyed it. I do have some small problems with it, but overall, It Chapter 1 was actually still a very solid horror film. Now that I watched It Chapter 2, and I watched it, and what do I think of It Chapter 2? I liked it, but I think I do have more problems with it. Now, not to say It Chapter 2 was bad, because I actually really liked the movie, but I actually do have some complaints with it. But like I said in many of my previous videos when I do movie reviews, I'm actually going to start with the positives and then I'll get into the negatives. So let's talk about what I really like about this movie. Let's talk about Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. Now, even though Pennywise in this movie doesn't have that much screen time, much like how he has in the first movie, but what I really like about Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, I like that he still acted like his character from the last movie, and his design is as being like a scary shape-shifting clown really makes him such a horror icon in today's standards. And the way how he manipulates the kids when he acts like friendly and then all of a sudden he basically just attacked the kids really makes him such a threatening foe. And what really makes me become a fan of his character is not only his scares, but he also tends to have like his own sense of humor, which I don't think I ever mentioned that in my review for It Chapter 1. But I heard some people say that, oh, like this Pennywise is not always that silly like Tim Curry was in the miniseries. But as I rewatched this movie, I actually realized that he does have his funny moments as being like a funny clown. And it's really interesting that they actually give this Pennywise more of like, yeah, he can be scary, but he can also be funny at the same time. Kind of like the Joker from Batman. And I think Bill Skarsgård did a very good job, even though I wish there was more of Pennywise in the movie, but I still think that he did a good job. And as for the Losers Club are now adults, and I actually really like all of them. And I really do think they all did a good job playing the adult versions of the Losers Club when they were reunited. And the scenes with them, like when they were reunited and they went to the restaurant and they're just having a great time with each other, is it's just really nice. And it really makes you feel like you have like a really big friends reunion, and it's really nice to see these two just chatting with each other, eating food at the restaurant. And then they realize that the reason why Mike called them to return to Derry is because he's the only one that he is witnessing that Pennywise has returned, and they all have to defeat Pennywise once and for all and kill Pennywise for good. So then and then they all have to like team up in order to stop Pennywise. And we actually got to see like what the Losers Club has been going to after 27 years after the events of the first movie, after when they were kids and now they became adults. And And yeah, I think the cast who plays the Losers Club, I do think they did a good job. James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, and Bill Hader. Bill Hader as Richie, I actually do think that he's actually funny. I actually thought he looks exactly like what I thought Richie was going to look like when he becomes an adult. Not only that he looks like the adult version of Richie when he was a kid, but I actually really do think that he looks exactly like what Richie's supposed to look like. And, like his glasses, his face, and his hair. And I was like, that's Richie. And I actually thought Bill Hader did a good job playing Richie as an adult. And I could say the same thing about the rest of the cast members of this movie. James McAvoy as Bill, I thought he was really good. And the scene like where he was like riding his bicycle, like how he did when he was a kid, and I love that he was like, "Hi-yo, Silver, away!" Just like how Bill actually said it in the miniseries. And it's just really cool to see like the Losers Club again. We also got to see the Losers Club as kids. Now, as for them as the kids, there were some like de-aging the faces because there were some of the faces on some of the Losers Club as the kids were made out of CGI. And some people said, it's actually kind of a bit too distracting because that the kids were getting older, which I was like, yeah, I can see like what they're trying to say there. But it didn't really bother me because at least the Losers Club as kids still look like the kids from the first movie. So I really don't have the problem with the de-aging. At first I thought I was like, I don't know about that because I thought it was like it just looks kind of weird that some of the kids has like some of the de-aging on their faces kind of looks like something like out of AI before AI became a thing nowadays. But they still look like the Losers Club from the first movie, so the de-aging in the faces is not really as distracting as many people would say. So I don't think it was too distracting. Um, and what I also really like about the movie is that we actually got to see some flashbacks of the Losers Club as kids when the adult versions of the Losers Club actually got to experience like one of their past experiences, like either like the memories that they had was either good or most of them were pretty bad because of not just to Pennywise but also to other people, especially the adults, were acting very weird. Especially Beverly's father, who is like the creepiest character I have ever seen in a horror film that isn't a horror villain. And I feel so bad for Beverly, and I actually feel sympathetic for her because all the stuff that she has been going through, like when her father was just being so creepy and just being so kind of abusive to her, just makes me like I just want to jump into the TV and just actually just like fight the father, to save Beverly's life. And yeah, it's really creepy, and I really feel so bad for her, not only because of her father, but also she actually lives in an abusive house with her abusive husband, and she actually tends to like leave the house, and she actually took off her ring, and it got into a divorce, and I actually don't really blame her, So I actually think that what Beverly did is a smart thing to do. Is like, okay, I originally had enough with this abusive life that I have, so I'm actually am leaving, and I'm going to like reunite with my friends who are actually my real friends. And I was like, you go, Beverly, you go. Now, let's talk about like one of the problems I have with the movie. Now, I know this movie is good. I actually really like the movie, but I do have some problems with it. Now, let's talk about my main problem with the movie is that it's 3 hours long. And people have already mentioned this when they talk about it in their reviews. But I have to agree, as I was like watching this movie, I was like, as much as I really like this movie, there's no reason for this movie to be 3 hours long. And it just kind of drags the whole, excuse me, it kind of really drags the entire film. And it just kind of makes you feel like you're kind of like watching like a completely different slow movie. And the scenes with Pennywise was good, but I felt like, but like when I mentioned about the positives about Bill Skarsgård's performance, I felt like Pennywise the clown doesn't really have that much screen time, and we don't really get a lot of Pennywise. And the horrors is definitely not as scary as I thought it was. It's definitely not as scary as the first movie. There was one scene where I kind of felt like, why would you add a pop song in it? Yeah, there was a pop song that was added in the movie. Most people think that the pop song that was included in the film is hilarious, But to me, I just kind of felt like it was forced, and I was like, it really doesn't need to be here, and it just doesn't really fit. And it kind of ruins the horror of the scene, like where Eddie was experiencing the memories that he has, where he was trying to save his mother from Pennywise's like zombie form, I guess. And when he actually experienced the zombie form of Pennywise, and he was actually have like a wrestle match with him, and then when the zombie actually pukes on Eddie's face, they don't actually make it scary. They actually try to make it like too silly, and they play like the Force pop song, which you actually hear from the first Deadpool movie at the beginning of that film. And I was like, why would you add a pop song in a scary moment? Like it just feels like really weird and just comes off as like out of place. Now that's not really a big criticism I have. It's not like with the Marvel movies where I actually do criticize them for like overdoing the jokes and not, not really focusing on the story and the character development. But at least this movie doesn't really do like the same thing like what Marvel is doing. Now my reasons for the Marvel movies of what they're doing is a different discussion for another day. But anyways, now it's time to talk about let's talk about the ending of the movie. Now when the Losers Club actually tends to to fight Pennywise, we actually got to see Pennywise in his like gigantic form, with when he has like those big spider legs and he has like a Pennywise's face. And I actually thought that while I don't think the CGI is perfect, it's not the best. But to be fair, I actually liked that more than we got to see a giant stop motion spider from the miniseries. And when Pennywise actually tends to threaten him, and then he's actually really scary, and he was like, "Time to float."
27 years, I dreamt of you. I craved you. Oh, I missed you. Waiting for this very moment.
Gotta move, Mikey! Mike, come on, man!
I'm sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Time to float.
And I was just like, yeah, you could tell like how terrifying Pennywise is. And there was also like one of those moments like where Pennywise almost like he was like this close to like to destroy, well, not destroy, like kill most of the members of the Losers Club, because like as soon as Pennywise uses the deadlights on Richie, Eddie actually throws a spear at Pennywise, and then Eddie was like, "Oh look, Richie, I actually got him. I think I got him." And then and then all of a sudden he got impaled by Pennywise, and then you can tell that, oh snap, Eddie's not gonna make it. And it's really sad that they kill off Eddie's character, because he is also like one of the funniest characters in the movie right next to Richie, and the chemistry between these two is actually comes off as like one of the funniest like comic reliefs that you have ever seen, not just from a horror movie, but also in movies in general. And now usually and it's really surprising for me to say that, because usually comic reliefs in movies nowadays are not always as funny as they were as some of the comic reliefs in the past. But Richie and Eddie are really funny. And to see Eddie get killed by Pennywise after he saved Richie's life, it really is really heartbreaking, and it's really sad. So, so yeah, during the climax of the movie, the way how the Losers Club actually defeat Pennywise really does remind me a bit like how Nancy defeated Freddy at the first Nightmare on Elm Street, where they just pretty much like say like one of those insults to Pennywise by saying, "Oh, you're just a clown. You're just like a scary old woman. You're just a headless boy. You're the imposter." And then Pennywise actually tends to shrink down, and then he actually becomes smaller, and then he just like I don't know, I guess he kind of cries. It just feels sad that the Losers Club are defeating him just by talking smack to him, just like what Nancy did to Freddy in the first Nightmare on Elm Street. So I was like, really? I mean, is that the way you're going to defeat Pennywise? Now, I'm not sure how Pennywise was actually defeated in the novel, because I never read the book because it was 1,000 pages long. But maybe like in the book, the Losers Club defeated Pennywise in a creative kind of way. Correct me in the comments below if you guys read the book. But anyways, so yeah, like after when the Losers Club defeated Pennywise, all the Losers Club actually tends to escape from this haunted Scooby-Doo looking house that was about to collapse. And then that's all except for Eddie, because Eddie was killed off by Pennywise. And then Richie actually wanted to go back there to save Eddie, but you know, there's nothing that the Losers Club can do. Even there's nothing Richie can do, because you know, we all know that Eddie is already gone. So it's and you felt bad for Richie, and Bill Hader just did a very good job with his emotions, and not only being like how he was like when Richie was a kid, but also like when he was an adult. You actually feel of what he's coming from when he wants to save Eddie so badly. So Pennywise is defeated for good, and then the Losers Club gets to hang out just like how they were as kids when they jump into the water, and that's pretty much like the end of the movie, and pretty much Derry is saved and Pennywise is gone for good. So guys, overall, It Chapter 2, I actually really like the movie. It's not as good as It Chapter 1, because I do think there are moments in the movie where I felt like it just really drags over a 3-hour long time. And there was also moments in the film where I just kind of felt like it was very distracting. And I really wish that Pennywise has more screen time, but I still think that Bill Skarsgård did a very good job playing one of Stephen King's greatest creations ever. And the Losers Club as adults, I think they were really good. James McAvoy, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, and everybody else did a very good job as the adult versions of the Losers Club. And it was really good to see the kid actors to reprise their roles as the kid Losers Club, even though they were just like flashbacks, and they do have some CGI, some of the CGI on their faces because of the de-aging, and it's also because of like they're pretty much like growing up so fast. But it was really nice to see them again, you know. So yeah, I do think It Chapter 2, like I said, it was really good. It's not as good as the first one, but I actually still think it's actually enjoyable to watch, just to see the Losers Club coming back to fight Pennywise once and for all. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give It Chapter 2 a solid 7 out of 10. Now, the only reason like this movie lost 3 points is because, like I said, the movie was 3 hours long. There's some CGI that doesn't look great. It's not the best looking CGI. Not to say the CGI is terrible, but it's not great. And there were some moments where I just kind of felt like it really doesn't fit the movie. But everything else that is good, I actually really liked it. So I actually would recommend this movie to every fan of Stephen King, especially if you like the first chapter of It, especially if you're a fan of the miniseries, then I actually recommend you guys to go check this movie. So despite its flaws, and you know, there's more flaws than the first film has, I still had a good time watching It Chapter 2. So guys, that is my review for It Chapter 2. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Have you guys watched It Chapter 2? What did you guys think of it? Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Did you like the first chapter more, or do you think the second one is better than the first chapter? Let me know in the comments below. And also, feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make future videos. And stay tuned that I'm going to be doing more horror movie reviews. So the next one I'm going to be reviewing is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, which is a prequel to the remake. And also the one last thing before I go, I'm actually having a struggle to reach up to 300 subscribers because throughout this week I have like 284 subscribers, and then I got 285. But then there's like some people that actually unsubscribe for no reason. But which is it's kind of a pain in the butt, but you know what? I'm not gonna let that bother me, and I'm just gonna continue, you know, being positive, and I'm gonna continue making videos, so stuff like that. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my review for It Chapter 2. Hope you guys had a great day, and take good care of yourselves.